my god, this s'more stuffed chocolate chip cookie is the best little treat for summertime. I use my brown butter chocolate chip cookie recipe. It's all over my page if you want to use it. Then I use graham crackers, Hershey's because it's the OG, and then I cut off the bottom of a marshmallow so it sticks to the Hershey, add a flattened disc of cookie dough, and then I bake it at 350 and it's gorgeous.
I bet you've never had a chocolate chip cookie this good. Crispy on the outside, chewy and gooey on the inside. So easy to make. Start with a cup of brown sugar and a 1/4 cup of white sugar, 2/3 of a cup of brown butter, and make sure you scoop in all the brown bits. They have all the flavor. A tablespoon of vanilla extract. Mix the ingredients until just combined. After mixing, add in 2 eggs. Make sure your eggs are room temperature. After the eggs goes a 1/4 teaspoon of espresso powder. It's optional, but it brings out the chocolate flavor. A teaspoon of baking soda and 1/2 teaspoon of cornstarch. Mix everything together for about a minute or 2. Add a cup and 3/4 of flour, 1 cup at a time. You want your dough to be like a Play-Doh consistency, not too soft and not too crumbly. I like folding in my flour with a spatula to prevent overmixing. Finally, for the best part, you add in your chocolate chips of choice. These are the ones I use. You're going to want to put 1.5 cups to 2 cups of chocolate chips. Again, I'm mixing by hand because I don't want to overmix it, and then you're ready to bake. For this recipe, it doesn't make a big difference between refrigerating and not refrigerating them, and that's one thing I love about it. So once you're done mixing, you take an ice cream scoop, and it can be any size. The bigger the scoop, the bigger the cookie. The less cookies you have, the smaller the scoop, the smaller the cookie, the more cookies you have. Place them on a baking sheet and preheat your oven to 375 degrees. You're going to keep them in for 11 to 12 minutes. Once they come out the oven, shape them with a cup and you're ready to enjoy. Don't forget to follow for more recipes.
You're a genius. Let's make them white chocolate raspberry. Always measure vanilla with a heart. Ooh, it looks so good!
Hi, I'm Alex, and welcome back to part 13 of my mission to bake every chocolate chip cookie on the internet. These are Gideon's Bakehouse copycat cookies from Buck Farms here on TikTok, and these cookies ended up being my family's favorite. Now, they didn't surpass my front runners, but they ranked surprisingly well. So this recipe specifies Kerrygold butter, bread flour, and vanilla bean paste. Just a couple specialty items you would have to have on hand if you want to make this. Of course, it is not for the faint of chocolate hearts. We have mini semi-sweet, full-size semi-sweet, full-size milk chocolate chips, and then a chopped chocolate bar in the dough. It goes through a 24-hour rest period, and then you sort of press them in. I went to my parents' house while I was making this dough, and my dad saw me struggling. So soon you'll see him come in and help out here. Thanks, Pop.
There you go.
Thanks, Pop. Anyways, we listened to some Lizzo, baked off the cookies, topped with some flaky salt, and overall, 8.8 out of 10.
S'mores chocolate chip cookies. Make up your favorite chocolate chip cookie. Crumble up 4 graham cracker sheets. Just right in there. Okay. You're gonna scoop cookie dough. Take this, smush it down, and then take a 1/2 marshmallow, put it in the middle. And you wanna keep some of the marshmallow peeking out. All right, they're out. Look at that.
It's your lucky day because I'm going to show you how to make the best chocolate chip cookie of your entire life. I mean, just look at this. These cookies are crispy on the edges, ooey, gooey, chewy in the middle, and just oozing with chocolate. Start with 10 tablespoons of butter. Just keep stirring on medium-low heat until the butter becomes brown. At this point, the butter will start to smell toasty and sweet. 3/4 cups of brown sugar, 1/4 cup of white sugar, a little dash of vanilla. Now you're going to stir this on low heat for 2 minutes. We're basically initiating the caramelization process for our sugars. Now we're gonna let this cool down for 5 minutes. 1 egg and 1 yolk. Whisk them in for a minute. You should have a really smooth caramelly mixture. Now it's time for our dry ingredients. 1 1/3 cups of all-purpose flour, 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder, 1/4 teaspoon baking soda, and 3/4 teaspoons of salt. You always want to sift in your dry ingredients. And we're gonna gently fold in. 4 ounces of milk chocolate, and 4 ounces of dark chocolate. You can also just do 8 ounces of semi-sweet. You always want to do chopped chocolate instead of chocolate chips in your cookies because chocolate chips have stabilizers in them, so they're not going to create those yummy molten pools of chocolate. I know this looks like a lot of chocolate, but let's be honest, this is the star of the show. And now we're going to fold in the chocolate. And it's time to scoop. I like to add a little extra chopped chocolate on top because it makes them look prettier. Now you want to chill these for at least 30 minutes, but ideally 2 hours. 6 cookies per tray because these are going to be big boys. Bake at 375 for about 10 to 12 minutes. Now these are going to be a little bit soft to touch when they come out of the oven, but don't overbake them. They will solidify as they cool down. Oh my gosh, tell me those don't look heavenly. Wow, it does not get much better than this. You guys absolutely need to try this recipe.
If cookies are your love language, here's the recipe for the best brown butter chocolate chip cookies of all time. Start by putting 3/4 cup of butter on low heat on the stove. First, it will start to bubble up like this, and eventually it'll turn this beautiful golden brown color. Take it off the heat, then add in 1 cup of brown sugar and 1/4 cup of white sugar. Mix that until just combined, then add in 1 large egg yolk, a whole egg, and a tablespoon of vanilla. This is 3 times as much vanilla as normal, and I promise you it's worth it. Then add in 1 3/4 cups of spoon and level all-purpose flour, 3/4 teaspoon baking soda, and 1 teaspoon salt. Mix this until just combined, then add in 2 cups of semi-sweet chocolate chips or 8 ounces of chopped chocolate. From there, scoop your cookie dough into 2-ounce balls, roll them between your hands, and then I like to do this trick where you add a few more pieces of chocolate to the top of each cookie. Then you need to chill these cookies for at least 30 minutes. This really helps them to deepen in flavor and leads to a better texture. Cover them, place them in the fridge, then when you're ready, bake at 350 for 11 to 12 minutes. Always top your cookies with a little sea salt, and that is it. Best chocolate chip cookies you'll ever eat.
This fluffernutter cookie was completely inspired by this comment. The recipe is at the end, so you can screenshot it. So thank you to this commenter, because look what you made me do in a good way, not in a Taylor's version way, more like in a Lily P. Crumbs version way, as in, look at this gorgeous cookie that you made me make. And you didn't make me do anything. You just inspired me. And to be honest, I'm unemployed and have all the time in the world. So as soon as I saw that, I was like, that's got to happen. So if you comment your dream cookie or something you're inspired to make, I'll make it. I'll make it for you if you want. That's my little trick with a measuring cup. I line the measuring cup with saran wrap, and then the peanut butter just goes. That sounded unappetizing, but you know what I mean. It just kind of plops out. Way easier than scrubbing a measuring cup. Then you swirl in your fluff and or your peanut butter. You could do one or both or neither and just eat the cookie as she is, because she's perfect anyway. In the recipe, you'll see I didn't put peanut butter because it's up to you. It's choose your own adventure, you know?
These go in the freezer for 30 minutes and then they're ready to bake.
Anyways, this voiceover is becoming a little bit unhinged, but I hope that you guys try this. I hope you love it, and toodles!
So it's not a brownie, it's not a cookie, it's a brookie, and tell me that doesn't look absolutely delicious. It's ready from start to finish in 30 minutes.
Okay, so take your chocolate and your butter, you're just going to melt it. And while that melts, I've got sugar going into eggs, I've got light brown and white sugar, I'm going to whisk that up. And then we just take our melted chocolate and butter and we pour that in, and you should really whisk at the same time. And when it's combined, you just sift in your dry ingredients. It's got plain flour and baking soda. Now this is a pretty loose cookie batter. It's almost actually like a brownie. So you're going to spoon it on as best as possible into little circles. We're going to bake them for 10 minutes. Tell me that doesn't look delicious. This has just an amazing texture. It's slightly crispy on the outside and you've got that fudgy, soft brownie center. I mean, texture on point. That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
Hi, I'm Alex, and welcome back to part 22 of my mission to make every chocolate chip cookie on the internet. Meet the cookie that is now ranked number 2. This cookie was that good. You guys tagged me in this creator's video a bunch, and his original recipe came from Handle the Heat. This cookie, oh my goodness gracious, this has been one of my favorites. And at this point, I've eaten so many chocolate chip cookies that I hope you guys know, for something to make it this high in the rankings, toffee touch, good for the health there, it's got to be really good. It's got to be really, really, really darn good. I liked it more than the Bon Appetit brown butter toffee cookie just because I found it to be thicker and chewier. There was a little bit more flour, a little bit less leavener, and I loved that. Oop. Dad wanted to show you how to wash your hands while changing your brake pads when you're a real man. Do I know why he was doing that bit? Absolutely not. I didn't understand it. But as someone that loves a good bit, I simply can't interrupt someone else's bit to tell them it makes no sense. Bits don't have to make sense. That's why they're good bits. Oh, he hit himself in the head with a torque wrench. So the bit was over, as well as the project. It's important to go home, bake, and make a mess in your parents' kitchen, even if you have your own home and you're probably too old to be spending the amount of time there that you do, because they're great, you love them, and it's fun. Anyways, this cookie was incredible, 9.9. The spreadsheet will be out this week.